to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I'm here with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy.
Hi guys, happy Friday. I'm excited.
And we are also here with the man behind the scenes, behind the curtains.
Our Lord and Savior, not just Savior. That's your new name. Not just Savior. Not your witness. He's not your witness. How about that? Yes, we could not do this without him. I'm sure we could probably take classes and learn. Maybe I should look into that. But I love my nacha. All right, so we got some good stuff for you. A lot of stuff happened this week, you guys. This week I'm a newsie. I am. I spend the first 3 hours Monday through Friday every single day. The first hour and a half reading news. And it's just what I do. It's how I wake. I can barely move and talk in the morning, so it's just to try to get my mind out of there and focus on something else. And it was so hard to concentrate on a topic or an issue because it just kept coming, and everyone was like, oh, but I want to see what that's about. And you know, Cornel West is running, and now he's running for the Green Party, and like it's just so much is happening. And so it was when Mac came forward with his topics, I knew I couldn't add anything because I am with him, especially on our 400 years facing ex-president. So there's that. What do you think about that?
You said, what do I think about that?
Yeah.
I think I don't even know where to start with it.
Right.
Honestly,
yeah.
I've had the last, I don't know, 48 hours has been like really rough for me to process, just because I've been trying to go around and figure out everyone's like opinions and this whole fucking situation.
Yeah, it is a situation.
It is. And I mean, I think that's just all I want to talk about tonight is everything that revolves around this main story of
it's massive. Our country is very young for a country. Yes, that's true. However, this is the first time this has happened in our country's history. And we're not known for putting our war criminals, I don't know, handing out justice to war criminals. We're just not. Obama came in and everybody wanted him to investigate Bush for his blatant war crimes. And he said, no, we're moving forward as a nation. And, a lot of us thought that was your chance to make sure no one else does this. And I do have to say, I do have very strong opinions on this, as you guys, I'm sure, know. However, a healthy country, a country that has a healthy democracy, puts its criminals, hands justice out, whatever it might be. It doesn't, not necessarily prison per se, but they're held accountable. And there are many healthy democracies across this globe right now that have put their former leaders in prison because they were criminals. So if a regular person working a regular job who is not an elected official did any of these, did half of these, did 20% of these, they would already be locked up. So, my opinion, shall I not do the chant of murderous, crazy crowds of lock him up?
Yeah. Okay, well,
and how funny is that to see?
Yeah. Oh man. And that guy that got arrested, he's like, man, I'm just getting started.
See, listen, so I did follow the day very, very closely. When I woke up almost like
yeah. No, not to. That's
for justice.
We'll jump back to where we're supposed to be here in a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're starved for justice. Yeah, we'll go into topic 1 in just a second.
Yeah,
I
okay.
just wanted to get
Yes.
that off my
Thank you,
chest.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The man behind the curtain, who's totally there and not upside down, has informed us we are jumping ahead. So we are going to jump backwards to.
Yeah.
Let me
If a
find
man
the.
lives in the future, we can definitely live in the past.
Yeah, like so he knows that we've done wrong because he's looking back at us right now.
He's everything.
Okay, so June 8th, 2023. One of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse died.
Yeah,
his
I know.
Was pestilence. I'm sorry, I got that only half right. His name was Pat Robertson. And the man, like, now, I too want to premise what I'm saying with when Bush Sr. died, I treated it with more like a more gloved hand approach. I
remember.
I was much nicer about it because this man has a family, yada yada yada. And I mean, Pat Robertson probably has a really big family because he was really, really old when he passed away. But
Saw him on TV.
But there are very few people in the world
100%.
who get to take as much credit as this man does for all the homophobic, right-wing Christian conservatism, purity culture, like this whole fucking rigmarole that we are living in right now and fighting against. This man, the more you look into him, the more he is the bane of our existence. Like, as a group, as a duo, as leftists, as secularists, this man was awful. And I really tried to think long and hard about how to say he died on the show because I wanted to make sure I gave it justice. And I really did want to say one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and it was pestilence because
yeah,
as much as we say sometimes on the atheist side of things that religion is a disease, because I don't think it necessarily is, but I understand why people say it. This man may have been a disease. Like the way he spread his ideology and all of the hate that is included in his ideology and his messaging. Even Israel, his back and forth on Israel is like, oh no, Israel's great. They're friends of ours. Also, they should die during the second death because they don't believe in Jesus. You know, all Jews deserve to go straight to hell. It's like, I mean, that's the best he could do, and that's just speaking from like a Jewish standpoint of like why he's a piece of shit. But he had so much sway with different politicians, including presidents, over the last like 70 years or so.
He was definitely a Sith when he said.
Sith. Man, if this guy wasn't the closest thing to Palpatine, holy fuckaroos. I'm so sad we didn't go with a graphic with his Keebler elf looking face inside an Emperor Palpatine.
Jeff Sessions.
That was a missed opportunity, and it's because Christy didn't come up with this sooner.
Damn it. Damn it. Yes. Yeah. I think Jeff Sessions wins the Keebler Elf Award though.
Oh yeah, but
if he does not look like the main Keebler Elf on the package, I don't know.
Yeah, Jeff Sessions definitely does, but I mean,
Pat Robertson, he's one of the other elves for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he's not. You know,
Which one
maybe
was
he is
Jerry
the main one.
Falwell? We have a question. Which one was Jerry Falwell? Jerry Falwell is an evangelical pastor who, in 1973, when abortion rights were passed across our nation,
Yeah,
they didn't have a problem with it. Nobody did. It wasn't until the late 70s, because civil rights had happened and we had passed all these laws, especially in 1965, that they couldn't use segregation anymore. Jerry Falwell was a blatant, an avid segregationist. He opened up all of these Christian private schools in order to take all of the white kids out of public school, because they just got mandated to have all kids of every color, doesn't matter, just kids at school, as it should be. And he opened up Christian schools that were white only. That's who Jerry Falwell is. And so Jerry Falwell couldn't use that anymore. And they needed to get something to get the conservatives and the evangelicals together so they could have more voting power. And this was definitely one of them. And I know I'm saying it kind of conspiratorial, like he was trying to do these things, but we have information showing that he was trying to do these things. He needed a wedge topic, and abortion had just been passed. And there were, people over here a little bit and people over here a little bit that didn't like it. And if you can get people to be scared, you have their attention. And if you're telling people that there are people in our country that are killing babies, that's a wedge issue instantly. Nobody wants babies or children hurt. So Jerry
right.
Falwell, that guy. And President Reagan gave him a very, very, very lucrative spot. Yeah, Reagan and Falwell, they were like two peas in a pod.
I was gonna say two peas in a pod. So I do wanna just asterisk that. All the dead babies. Just because we're talking about Pat Robertson and Jerry Falwell and the influence that they've had on Christian conservatism over the last like half a fucking century or more. It's worth saying like these guys are a proponent of the politics that we fight against today, and the most extremism. Like, it's just people who are the most extreme take these guys' view to their logical limits. So when we're talking about Kanye West believing that abortion is worse than the Holocaust,
Oh,
it's
geez.
because of people like this, where they take the numbers of all the aborted fetuses and all the aborted babies, all of the miscarriages, all of the morning after pill statistics, lump them all together and be like, look at all of these dead bodies. Like, you are skewing the statistics and chalking them up on top of it. And again, including like the morning after pill and miscarriages, and then comparing that to the Holocaust. Even if I grant you like midterm abortions in any capacity, you still can't. You still can't compare that to the Holocaust. Like, one, that's utterly disgusting. Two, don't pretend you care about the Holocaust, because most of those people, again, followed Pat Robertson's footprints and thought, well, Jews kind of deserved it. They did kill our guy.
Yeah,
it's
supremacy.
It's sicker and sicker the further and further you go. Which is why, again, one of the four horsemen has died. His name was Pestilence Robertson.
So true, though. I'm not laughing that he died. I'm laughing at the pestilence. No, I'm just kidding. No, that wasn't a wink.
I hope that catches on.
No, I would never laugh that someone died. I was kind of like, well, I mean, any day now. It wasn't something that wasn't. Every time I saw him, I'd be like, he's still on TV.
Yeah, man, he retired 1 year ago. We're like, oh, what? Why was he still on? No, he's I don't know. I would like to say something nice as well on top of it.
I do actually have a compliment for him.
Please.
How weird. Right, I will go first. He did actually say something very empathetic about trans people. And it
Yeah.
wasn't that I heard it, it's that I watched it. I watched him say it. A caller had called in and asked, how he felt about this was before this, the satanic panic trans thing that's going on right now, way before that. And he said, wait, we don't need to say anything bad. I'm paraphrasing. He said that it's rare, but there are, and he's met them, people who are born in the wrong sex, and God loves them just the same. Very simple, and moved on. I just couldn't believe he said that. Now, this was when he would, in the same paragraph, talk about how homosexuals are horrible. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But that's my compliment. He actually did have something empathetic. I wouldn't say nice. It wasn't. He didn't go out of his way. He didn't compliment anyone, but it was empathetic for him. For him.
For him. Yeah. The
Oh, well, with famine. We have pestilence and famine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was just friends with famine.
No, they said, Jerry, the Falwell is famine. So we got Falwell is famine.
That's I might have to do a little more research on that.
But I will send you links, brother. I got you. Anybody wants stuff on Jerry Falwell? I got you. I can't stand that MFer.
That's good. Oh man. Oh, I see a few new people in the chat.
Yay!
Alicia.
Alicia.
Lindy
I love that name.
It's a cool name. The whole name is cool. And then SS 1964. Welcome both of you. Smitty,
definitely.
Mr. Shadow Kitty, Clockwork Rex. All of you, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Clockwork Rex. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Long time no see, my sweetheart.
So that all said, with Pestilence dead, I would like to extend condolences to his family.
Yes.
I deeply do mean that, like, I'm sorry for your loss as him as a member of your family, because it always sucks to lose a family member.
Yes, I'm sure he was a grandpa.
Even if any of them, didn't have a great relationship with him, I'm sure that you had fond memories of him, and I'm assuming that most of you had great memories with him. So, to that, my heart goes out to you. But as far as I'm concerned, he was a terrible human, and we won't miss him. But
no,
I feel
as a society, we will not miss him. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So, adios. Next topic.
Yeah, pasta lasagna.
Yeah. I feel like that's the most savage I've been towards anyone who's died.
I think it is, but it's hard when you're a humanist. Once in a while, I'll say something being silly, and Stacey will be like, "That's not very humanist of you."
That was dark. Yeah.
Hard.
Some people really, really earn it.
Yes.
Like,
no, he
I don't want to. Just because he's died, I don't want to deny him his life's work.
His due diligence.
Yeah. He wanted people like us to hate him.
Yes.
He earned it, but
he went on and on and on about Israel and loved to visit it and talked about it, and then would go on and on about how abortions are wrong. Fact for the day, you guys, in the state of Israel, abortions are not only free for everyone, but they are legal.
Yeah.
Right. So Israel has one thing besides they have.
I'm sure they're just getting hit with hurricanes left and right.
The oceans are turning red right now.
All right. Well, moving on to someone's hair who can't take a hurricane. Donald Trump has been served up 37 indictments. I keep hearing 37 or 38. We'll just go with either one, whatever. and he's in some deep doo doo. Deep doo doo is the official line. I think it was in most of the reports. Just said deep doo doo. This
I like it.
yeah. I don't care. Like Christy, if you would like, we could go through all of the charges. I don't really care to.
Yeah, I don't think our crowd needs. I'm sure they're all very well aware of them. I actually read the indictment because I'm a nerd.
I listened to Legal Eagle.
Yes, it was a
On
very
it.
good video.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you guys want to know anything about it and you don't want to read it yourself, just go to Legal Eagle. Look at
But if you do want to read it yourself, you can actually go to Midas Touch, their podcast, and read it along with them and
because
have
the
a
truth
civil
is
rights,
golden.
yeah, have a civil rights attorney help break down any legalese. Although it was written for laymen, I had zero issues.
Cool.
And every page I was like, did I turn it? I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. Just the amount of evidence that they have, like the pictures and the video of like where all the boxes are and
You can't
what
stop
he
committing.
said to who, just like, oh, like I could have declassified this when I was president.
But I didn't,
I
and
didn't,
now I can't.
and now I can't, and I'm holding it in front of you.
Yeah, yeah, waving it around.
I'm
That's not
leaving it
I
for
mean,
them to look at. So
you
I would like to remind everyone of one of the most important things before we get into this. I really want to remind everyone that some of these documents, um, let alone being some of the most sensitive documents that our U.S. government has, um,
oh, the Five Eyes.
they're they're not only illegal for Trump to have, they're illegal because, and it's not that they're illegal documents. It's illegal for certain people to see them and just the classification, right?
Right.
I'm trying to say it correctly. They're supposed to be in a skiff.
Yes.
Supposed to be like basically in a locked door behind a locked door
Yeah, you
in a
drop off your
very
phone.
specific
You
facility.
can't take
It's
your
like
phone. You can't take your computer. You cannot take paper, pen. You cannot take notes. It's you're in there with other people. A lot of them were Five Eyes folders. That's for the US and their allies. Their eyes only, their intelligence eyes only.
yeah, and yeah, it's. I thought of this earlier this week because I want to explain it to people in a really simple way. And this is too simple of a way, but I really want people to understand. Um, if you're over 30, maybe you'll remember a place called the library, where you could go and you could check out books. But every library has a special section. It's called the reference section.
Hmm.
And um, if I remember right, at least the libraries that I went to, my mom did a lot of genealogy back in the day. And she would go into the reference section, and you can't check those books out. You can go into a specific room, you can access these books, you can
Yes.
take notes and you can take pictures, but you can't check out the books,
Right.
because that would basically just be stealing from your public library. Again, this is too simple
Right.
um, of an explanation, but I wanted to make it really simple for everyone. So take take this idea of you took an important document, book, reference guide that is kind of rare and belongs to everyone at the public library,
Right.
and you take it out of the room and then out of the building without checking it out.
Right.
That's called stealing. And the local authorities are going to be like, yo, hey, man, give it back. And if you don't, like, we're going to have to, like, arrest you for stealing. Right. But imagine there's a more, like, secretive reference section in a library or in and a government facility.
Right.
And this information has dangerous information on it that does belong to the public, but if it's in the wrong hands, it could hurt the public because it's
Right.
sensitive military information.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm trying to break this down in a way that any right wingers who watch the show and are mad at me about the Pat Robertson being pestilence thing, they can still understand what I'm getting at. It's illegal. It's super duper illegal to take it out of the room at all. And it is super sensitive. Now, I would like to caveat all of this that some of these documents, yeah, they're highly classified. They're super sensitive. They could be a national security risk. We don't actually know because we haven't seen them, but we have to assume that the DOJ has some semblance of a reason to charge him with this, and we have to assume to a certain point that they're being honest about how classified these documents are. Also, because if you don't, then you don't believe Donald Trump, because he also said how classified they were. Right? So it's either they're all lying, including Trump, or only Trump's lying because we caught him in a lie. Now, I believe personally, and I don't know how much Christy agrees with this. I think we differ very slightly on this. Not much at all. I don't think there are very few things that I can think of that I think the government should keep like top secret.
Right. We do overclassify. Yeah.
Yeah. For more than 6 months, even if it's super fucking sensitive. Like the only thing that I think that should stay secret are like nuclear codes and
spies, their contacts. All of our people are all of them who are working for us. We don't need those names and where they are out there at all.
Right. We don't
endanger their lives.
I kind of disagree with that. Like at all. I mean, active ones, yeah, but as soon as they're
of course.
active.
But if those areas are still being used and there are people still connected to those people they had in, then no. Because if I was doing that important work, I would need to know, to trust that that wasn't going to get in the wrong hands so I could continue that work. So I'm okay. I think that those people and those projects should be protected, but we do overclassify a lot. And when you mentioned the Trump, he did say, this is classified, and I could have declassified it, but I didn't. That particular classified document has not been found yet.
Is that the Iran one?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's
so who got wait who got $2 billion? And from what country was that? And wait,
hold on, no, it was Hunter Biden in Ukraine, right?
Yes, it was on the laptop.
Fake news. No, so but I do want to push back on what you said about the spies, just like as a counter argument, just to throw that out there. I like to be devil's advocate. Is look, like I understand we need to keep them safe, and I agree with that we need to keep them safe, but also we need to keep them clean. Like we need to be like, hey, are they doing their job like ethically?
Yes.
At least to a point. Because
how do you feel about this? I think that there should be an elected board group bunch that changes. It doesn't stay the same. They cannot be career, and their whole job is to go through the current 6 weeks, like you said, whatever the time limit could be, 8 weeks.
I said 6
months, whatever it might be. That's their job, to take and go through them independently. These people should not be known by anyone. The people,
it should be like jury duty.
Yes, like an anonymous jury, and it should change all the time. So this can't be a career, and they cannot be corrupted. And their whole job would be, of course, these would have to be people who could view these things. So it would be a smaller pool to choose from. However, I think there should be some sort of, like you said, we shouldn't be overclassifying. And I think if we had some sort of a board or committee to hold that to them. Like, you are overclassifying. I think we could see a difference.
I think
I'm at a
I
loss for
think
that one.
I think you have a good idea. I think
Oh,
I don't want to mean
hold
this
on.
out. Christy has
There-
one good idea. No kidding.
There is a queen
First one of her
in our
life.
chat. Everyone needs to stop and realize that Chesh is here. Everybody give her a kiss. Tell her she's loved. She's you is kind. You is ma, and you is important. Okay, I love you. Love you. Love you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Yeah, we have like 10 new subscribers too. As
Yay.
of like last
I'm
time
always
we-
spreading it and sharing
Thank you
it.
so much,
and
guys.
talking to random people about politics.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
your good idea. No, I think it's a great idea. And I really like to try to make solutions instead of just talk about the goddamn problem because everyone's
Right.
fucking doing that part. But no, I think that's a great solution. I think we would need to, vet those people only in the way of like criminal record. We need to make sure that they don't have a criminal record before they do that. I don't really care about anything else. Like, you shouldn't apply religion or politics.
No, they should be apolitical as far as that goes. I mean, everyone's
You
biased.
should act
Everyone.
apolitical, just like you would in jury duty.
Yeah, amen. Yes. Yeah.
And no one's perfect. I don't think you could like enforce that all the way, but I think that's the only fair way to do it is just watch for those with the criminal record. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. So yeah, Trump's in deep doo-doo, as I said.
I do his okay. Do you guys remember about 6-7 months ago I did mention that because Trump has an issue with attorneys. We all know this. MAGA
No. Only attorneys that take notes.
Oh yeah.
And attorneys that he has to pay.
Oh yeah, that's the big reason.
And attorneys that might want to run against him in a presidential election.
Yeah, he doesn't like that at all.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I mean, I guess that's most attorneys, but not
it is.
necessarily.
And we found out that MAGA stands for Make Attorneys Get Attorneys. So that's always fun. But do you remember like 7-8 months ago, he really wanted the specific lawyer, and the lawyer said, sure, he was a good lawyer, but only if you pay me first. And Trump, the Political Action Committee, paid him that $3 million. Do you remember that? They paid him $3 million up front. I even mentioned it on our show that he had a lawyer that got paid up front because he wasn't going to take the chance of putting in all this work and not getting paid because he's smart. That same lawyer was there when he was asked for these documents. That same lawyer was there during the times when he would write back to them. This is the lawyer that was writing back to Nora, telling them, yes, we have them, no, we don't. And Trump was messaging this lawyer saying, can't we just say we don't have them? Can't we just say that they're not here? Can't we just say falsehoods pretty much? And of course, that particular attorney said, no, we cannot do that. So he was getting frustrated and he went to speak to Merrick Garland. He wanted to work out a deal so that Trump wouldn't get charged, wouldn't get indicted. He is a smart attorney. So he said, we need to do something where you just give them back so that you don't get charged and all of this will just drop away. And Trump said no, that they're his. Now, there were other voices, of course, in there encouraging that. But that's when this particular attorney that got paid up front said and walked away. That particular attorney is state's witness against Trump. So they will be sitting this attorney down if and when it goes to trial. If Judge Cannon, another whole story, allows this to go to trial, the attorney of Trump's is now state's witness. Jack Smith is going to call him and sit him down, and he had to turn over his phone, he had to turn over his emails, all of it's on there of Trump pretty much asking lawyers to lie. It's so bad. It's so bad. Don't even get me started on Judge Cannon.
That's still him, though. That's just what he
It's
does.
very Trump. It's very Trump. Now, here in Florida, you guys know that the judge that has him right now is that same judge that was appointed by Trump, and then through her information 2 cents in when Trump was in trouble, out of jurisdiction. She didn't have the right to do it. She actually got in trouble for doing it twice. That's the judge that Trump is going to have this particular thing in front of, which, I mean, she should have recused herself. She was appointed by him. And not only was she appointed by him, yes, Mark, Nanu, of course. Robin, I see you guys. Robin always has to be in the shot. Sorry, guys, can't talk and not pay attention. So this Cannon woman is biased. She's not going to recuse herself because that would be admitting to her biases. However, if she does anything that is illegal or wrong, she will be called out on it, and it will be harsh. So, I mean, a lot of the civil rights attorneys that I listen to say that it's don't freak out yet, that Jack can ask that she be recused. In the same district not too long ago, when DeSantis and Disney went up against each other, the judge that they got put in front of, that judge recused himself because his cousin has 30 shares in Disney. Like, I don't understand why she wouldn't just, it's not even supposed to be that there is corruption or is anything. It's the idea that there would be. Yeah. The thought or the view, does it look like there could be? That's when you recuse yourself. And
you shouldn't want that on your record that you.
No, I don't think she cares. She's got a lifetime appointment. She'd never done trials in her life. Like, she's never ever done them. She was definitely woefully underqualified. I'm underqualified for many things. And I am aware of those things. And it just blows my mind that I just throw my hands up sometimes.
That's something important to expand on. I feel like that the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
The more you know.
Yeah. And it's really humbling. Really humbling. And that is something that I wish I just saw more of.
Less Dunning-Kruger is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, because we see it a lot on the right, but we see it a lot on the left too.
Yes.
It's all over, like when you're talking about politics, everyone seems to be a professional when you talk to them. Like, everyone knows everything.
Yeah, and they double down. That's the thing. So do you ever find when you're talking to someone about politics and they say something so absurd that you're like, hold on, Google, look. Like, you just can't, like, I'm not gonna argue. Look. Like, no, not my phone. Like, if you're arguing with somebody and they say something so absurd, instead of arguing with them, that you're like, you Google it and just like turn it towards them and be like, dude, the first 27 show that you're wrong. The next 38 show that you're wrong. Like, but we're talking about people who do not need to confirm if something is right or wrong. They feel it. They feel it. A lot of Trump supporters are into that, like, whole vibe thing, how they feel. Policy, not. Trump makes them feel a certain way, that they will get retribution for all the things that are wrong with this country and in their lives. And I agree that things are wrong in their lives. I have ideas to make those better, and none of them include a fascist. Not one of them. I do think that if politicians want to woo these voters, these Trump voters, and it's going to be very hard. They need to be deprogrammed. Honestly, I don't know how else to say that. But to go to their house, to take politics out of it, knock on door. Hey, how are you? I don't care who, what side. What are some of the things you would like to see? And just talk to them on a level will make such a big difference.
One of our most useful tools in our Batman utility belt, if I may, is the use of not just logic, which is a great thing, but also epistemology.
Yes.
How do you know that? Why do you think that? How? Why? How? Why? How? Why? How? Why? Over and over and over again.
Yes.
And you never have to disagree. You never have to agree.
Yes. No, it's very
important. You do agree on when you disagree with a person entirely. You can still agree. You can always agree with, like, when I find people who, think that the federal government is being weaponized in general.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Amen.
I agree with that, right? So I say it, and I say what I agree with, maybe more specifically, or maybe not. But then I ask them more for their view, right? And why they're saying that, like what specifically
and how do they know
about Donald Trump being prosecuted do you mean, right? I mean, because our federal government is weaponized. It's just usually weaponized against other countries.
Or the poor. Think about the pipeline. Think about DAPL. That it was very weaponized.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
Weaponized. Any protest, any big protest, our government puts people in it to infiltrate it. That's weaponizing.
I feel like our government is weaponized in a sense of where it doesn't target normal people. Not very often, anyways. Even in the sense of what's his name? Helped in the Amazon case, the lawyer.
Yeah. Zellinger.
Steven
Something
Donziger.
like that. Donziger. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a zinger in
there. Even him. He may be the exception, but bear with me as I say he is not. Just for the point of it, as our government is weaponized in the sense of it is a free market proper upper, right? So whatever interests, capitalistic interests, need the government to do, the government will step up and prop up the U.S. interest or the market's interest and be like, all right, we're not going to target anyone, but anyone who is in the way of you getting to your goal, we will bulldoze through. We're just going to get you from point A to point B, and whoever we run over on the way, we're going to run over on the way. That's a great way to explain the DAPL, the Dakota Access Pipeline. Is a great way to talk about Julian Assange.
Oh, 100%.
And Steven Donziger, except those two and the one who's in Moscow right now.
Yeah, Snowden.
Those ones are more targeted. I feel like at first it was just like, oh, well, he's kind of in our way. Let's back up. He noticed we ran over people.
Mm-hmm.
We got to back up. I feel like that's kind of the exception. Usually, it only targets people who target the system in such a way to be like, hey, they ran over people. They did something bad. They what's that called when they did the? I want to call it a double tap. With the where they kill the first responders in the
yes. It was collateral murder. Collateral murder.
Yeah, the collateral murder video. And
Yeah.
that was
That was
Snowden?
tough.
Was
Chelsea Manning.
Chelsea Manning and Snowden? No, no. Chelsea.
Chelsea, it was Chelsea Manning on that one.
Yeah.
But I I would have to go back and make sure if it was Snowden and her on that particular one, but I know it was her on that one. I
Yeah,
can't tell
and
you
that
on that one.
was wild. And that's a perfect instance of just like, well, we usually just run over whoever, right? We were just being our normal US war machine self. Someone pointed out like, oh shit, back up the vehicle.
Mm.
Um
Doo-doo.
it's just what we tend to do. So the federal government is weaponized, and
Yeah.
it's usually just to help capitalistic interests.
Yeah.
And
It is
and
to
I mean,
stop any movement, any kind of leftist worker movement, union, any of that. I mean, they weaponized the union. They went after unionists and trades, and there was a Red Scare in this country where if you were a teacher who knew someone who considered themselves ideologically communist, they would be outed. That is weaponizing the government. It has happened for always. Wherever there is fascism in power, there's going to be weaponizing of that power. And ultimate power corrupts all. Absolutely. We know this.
yeah. Badger says, I mean, Snowden also almost certainly got got a lot of people killed by his cavalier
Yeah.
and actions.
There were actually a lot of names. Remember I said earlier that are
Mhm.
our own spies, our own people that they need to be protected, whether you agree with what they're on or not. They're working for their government, for us.
Right.
We don't have to like that, but they are working for us. Our taxes pay their bills. So they need to be protected. And yes, in all of that data from Snowden, there were a big majority of it that had information of where people were, who they were, what they were working on, what their code names were. Like, yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't tell you that anyone got killed from it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I haven't heard any reports of it. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it didn't happen, but
That means that they immediately had to change what they were doing. They needed to
oh yeah, yeah, they had to
change
step
everything.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The it goes back to the point that I was saying earlier is like I feel like to me with classified documents, we the people need to have more overview of the government,
I
and
agree with that.
we can't have. I feel like we just can't have things secret from the public that long because it's. I know it's against like the security of spies like that, but also like it's against our national security to keep things secret so long, like who who we're selling weapons to, eh, in the Middle East until like 20 years later. It's like, oh, we sold weapons to Al Qaeda.
Mm.
Oh, we had spies here and they did this, or
Yeah, I
oh,
mean, we've had presidents do that, Mac.
we did do
Reagan,
what?
our president, Reagan, who was president at the time, wanted to give weapons to a particular country. Rhymes with Moran. And and our Congress, as it should, which it hasn't done in so many decades, stepped in and said, no, they're a terroristic country. We're not going to do that. Well, guess what? He did it anyway. He did it anyway. And the Contras in South America, they were told no. And he did it anyway. Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And so that to me is using your power for bad, not necessarily weaponizing anything. I think the Congress did what they were supposed to do then. We need to rein in a lot of things. Over classifying is just one on a very long list. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's just
But,
like I said.
that's how I feel about
This is kind of
Trump.
my yeah, Yeah. It's kind of the perfect world kind of situation where like we don't. I mean, because the longer the government has to keep things classified, the
Yeah.
longer it is before we can hold them accountable. And I
Yeah.
think it's a really, really serious problem that we don't really focus on enough
Yeah, we
as
don't.
a community.
As a
And
country,
yeah, as a
as a
country.
country, we are known for having the shortest memory. Like around the world, they're like, "Oh, you guys have the shortest, memories. You don't want to like 10 months ago. Oh, that was 10 months ago." We're always looking forward, very forward thinking. But like Obama, with we're not going to go after the past war criminal. We're going to move forward. I think that you put the nail right into it. That's
Yeah.
a problem. Can't be held
Yeah.
accountable.
I I do want to point out because Vagry's still typing in the live chat, and I appreciate it. Thank you for joining in on the conversation. He said a few things. He said Snowden didn't give a damn. He could have scrubbed the info. He
Yeah.
said some things have to be secret. He said it's naive to think that geopolitics can be done nobly. The noble and righteous die in geopolitics. Oh, and I definitely see what you're saying. It's just as a humanist, I feel like it is my job
Right.
to come out with the position of just like, well, we need to fucking try. Like we need to
Right.
like try to hold our government accountable. If you, as a spy, will say, right, just for example, if if you think you need to do something immoral, right, geopolitically, um, for your country, then you ought to, work with your government to do that because the government does that. But then you also need to like realize that there's consequences for it, right? I don't think we can do things unethically, geopolitically, and then just cover it up for like 2, 3, 4 decades
Yeah.
so no
I
one gets in
feel
trouble
you
for
on
it.
that.
Like, no, if we're gonna do it, we need to take responsibility. I'm saying we need the responsibility. I'm not saying everything is going to be done ethically. It'd be nice if it could, right? Um,
Innocent. Yeah.
but
Perfect.
when not, you shouldn't lie. So I just had this conversation. Let me clarify this, and I hope that my point gets across this way. If you disagree, that's fine. But I just had a conversation with my father about Ron DeSantis
Oh,
recently, and he didn't know about the Guantanamo Bay, like his involvement in it, how he
the
went as
torture.
a human rights lawyer to go and make sure that these prisoners are being held captive and tortured were being treated um
Human
with
rights.
with human rights, like within the law of the UN. So
Right.
he goes there, he interviews people like, hey, how's it been going? Oh, that sounds bad. What's the worst part? Oh, he tells the worst forms of torture that he's being reported
And he
to
uses
the
it.
prison guards to then increase the amount of torture. Hello. And then he sits in the room and laughs so they know that so they get an extra form of torture while he's sitting in the room while they're being tortured in the way that they had mentioned to him, to the person that they trust who's supposed to be there for them, so they can't trust anyone,
Right.
and they're being force fed or anally fed.
Right.
That's atrocious. But and my dad agreed with me here. um I'm like, look, he's being questioned on this by a few different reporters. He doesn't like to answer the question. He won't answer
Not
the
at
question. He just
all.
gets mad and yells. Whatever. I would give him a little bit of respect if he came out and said, yeah, I thought those people were terrorists. I think terrorists deserve torture to get the answers that we want. I'd be like, all right, well, I'm glad he's forefront. I still think he's a piece of shit, and I still think he belongs in jail for it. But
Right.
at least he owns it and he's consistent. But he's not. He tries to hide from the question. He
Yeah.
doesn't want people to know that. It's like,
No.
if you think it's right, do it. And then
Yeah.
answer for it.
He gets mad at me.
I don't think every law should be upheld to its furthest extent. Like, I feel like if you can make a good argument, and you can convince your peers that you broke a law for a good reason, like I stole this apple from the grocery store because me and my 2 children were starving to death, right? Then you shouldn't really be criminally charged. You should probably just be helped and watched closer at Walmart. But again, like, I'm not saying that I expect the US to do everything ethically and by the book and whatever, but we need to stop pretending that we do while we're not. We need to just start taking more responsibility, so that then people can righteously hate us if they so choose, or we can just fucking start cleaning up our act and our record if we want to have a clean record. You can't have it both ways. You just can't. So stop trying, because it's disgusting. We, as a country, the way that we do geopolitics, we're fucking cowardice. We could fucking own it. We wouldn't be cowards. We'd just be kind of monsters, right? But right now we're cowardly monsters, and I don't like that. I'd rather us be.
Yeah, we hide the empire we have. And if you don't believe me, you can go to YouTube and type in the words "how to hide an empire" and watch that.
Right.
Blow your mind. Yeah.
So other pieces of news that I wanted to throw out there. Because I tossed something your way, Christy. I'm sure you got a chance to watch it. I'm not sure though. I tried to catch back up with Kim Iverson and her thoughts on all this.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
And I was disappointed, to say the least. But I do think, I still think that most of what she says, she actually believes.
Yeah, I think that too. She's not out there faking it. She really believes it.
Right. At least most of it, like 85, 90% of it, seems genuine to me.
Yeah.
Then, did you see the other thing I sent you?
No, I didn't see that one either.
No? Okay. Maybe I didn't mention the Kim thing, but did you see the video I sent you of Jimmy Dore?
Where? I haven't seen anything.
I sent it in Messenger yesterday.
Oh, I haven't been on Messenger in 3 days. Got it right here.
I was just listening to the first minute and a half. For those of you who are new here, Mac here was super duper, very Jimmy Dorian. I called myself Jimmy Dorian. He was one of my most trusted news sources for a long time, because he's gotten a lot of things right in the past. And he doesn't give a shit when people disagree with him. If he's convinced of something, he really rides that pony to town. And I respect that, because I respect whether or not, because this is why I have the name Great Skeptic, which I want to reboot that channel soon. But if you're genuine and you're consistent, I appreciate your opinion.
Right.
But grifters, I hate. So Jimmy Dore, as usual, was tearing apart the lady on MSNBC.
Rachel
Maddow.
Of course.
That's his favorite person to beat up on. And it's pretty easy to beat up on her. That's fine.
Pretty easy. She opens those French doors and steps right out on it every day.
She sure does. She said something about, because I have heard, mostly from the right wing, and I've also heard Kyle and Crystal talk about the idea, like, what if the DOJ says, all right, Trump, if you promise you're not going to run for president, maybe we'll take it easy on you, because that's what we want out of this. And Rachel Maddow said something like that. And Jimmy and his crew kind of stopped the tape. They're like, there's an admission. I'm like, that's not an admission. That's just a fucking fan theory.
Right.
But he says that, and then he stops it again and says something about like her eyeliner, and I'm just like, huh? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of hot. It's kind of turned me on or whatever. And he knows, she's lesbian, and
Yeah.
he's just picking at her at a different level, which I'm not there for. I'm there for the news. I'm there for the view of this audience, and he's just making fun of her looks and that she's lesbian. And like, oh yeah, I forgot I don't have a chance. I'm just like, this is distasteful. I almost turned it off. I almost never turn off a video because I don't like what it's saying. I suffer through it if I've turned it on, unless I'm utterly bored and I'm just not listening anymore.
Right.
Well,
No, I feel
I
you.
should listen to something that's going to keep my attention. I'll do that. So I had to skip like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so I can get back on track because I couldn't listen to him anymore. But he was defending Trump, um, and making fun of Rachel Maddow for
Yeah,
the
he's
just
an
reason.
awful person. He's been an awful pre-showed his true colors, and I never have looked back.
I and that's the problem. I looked back this week,
Yeah,
and it's
I
like,
haven't.
wow, I'm hurt. I'm like I feel bad because I stayed away from it so long because I hate drama,
Yeah,
fucking hate drama. And I
same.
mean, we're not a big enough channel for like Jimmy to see this and they're like, oh, they're starting shit in the community again. Well, no,
I
no one
would,
gives a shit about us.
you know,
Um,
I
so
would want Mike Figueredo to notice us. That's who I want to notice us. Mike's my favorite. Mike and Secular Talk and Humanist Report, they're my favorite.
yeah,
He never
I'm
lets me down.
I'm
Never.
those are all great. Um, I love I love Mike from the Humanist Report. Kyle's my dude.
Yeah.
I love Breaking Points because I like having those extra views with the
Yes.
saga in there. Um, and who's my I'm really liking Midas Touch right now too. I need to watch it more often. Oh, and Status Quo. I want one of their United Corporations of America.
Yes.
I want that in
So
my back.
yeah,
So
it's
goddamn
smart.
bad.
Yes.
Also,
Oh,
Gut
we all know
sounds
what to
good.
get Mac for his
Lincoln.
birthday and for Christmas.
Yes. If I
Yes.
don't get it first.
Yes.
Yeah. Useful charts. It's not a political channel, but that's also another big one that I'm watching. Not that that's the point of anything we're talking about right now. I just want to name my favorite channels. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to point out that Kim Iverson and Jimmy Dore, I checked out their channels for the first time in a few months, and I was utterly disappointed that one, they were defending Trump, both of them. Two, Jimmy was being just a disgusting human. I'm a
Yeah.
humanist. I care about treating people with dignity. I kind of hate social politics. I was just telling my fiance, very very soon to be wife, last night. I'm like, look, like I was into like the social justice warrior stuff for a while. It's not that I don't care about identity politics. It's just that for me, the way that it should be talked about, or the way that I like to talk about it, we need an array of ways to talk about it. And I'm glad that there are people out there who take it more seriously than me. I'm just not one of them to push it for the most. I think it's the duh position, kind of like atheism. I do like
Mm.
to talk about it more. It is more my wheelhouse. But it should be treated as duh. And if I can't convince you in like a minute or two that the LGBTQ plus community deserves to be treated with basic human dignity, then I need to stop wasting my breath on you because you're
Yeah.
too fucking stupid for me to waste my breath on you.
See, Stacey would be like, that is not very humanist of you, Christy.
I feel like that is entirely too humanist.
No, I feel you. It's very
Yeah,
frustrating. It's very, very, very frustrating.
yeah. It's super because I am humanist. I care about people, and if you're a bigot,
Yeah.
it's not that I want you to go burn in hell. I just don't
Right.
want to waste my time on you anymore.
Uh-uh.
Right? If
Yeah.
I can't get that across. Maybe we can talk about something else. Or maybe I don't need to talk to you because I don't
No,
need to be mean to you about it. I'll just call you a fucking idiot. We can shake hands and walk our separate ways.
yeah, they don't like to be called bigots, I'll tell you that. So that's what I got. That's where I mean, don't say or do bigot things, and I won't call you a bigot. It's
I'm all
very
for free speech. If
yeah.
bigot offends you, let's high five. We both agree with free speech. Right? So
Yes.
that. And the third thing that really, really bothered me about these two channels is at the end of both of their videos that I watched, and like I watched a couple of Kim, but there were ads. They're reading ads at the end of their videos. Now Kim, I don't mind quite as much. I think it's a little sellouty. I feel like, but
Yeah.
Jimmy
Yeah.
was super anti-capitalist for a while.
He sold out.
Yeah, he's just. I tried to justify it to myself, and I want to share this with you guys in case anyone else, because I vouched for him longer than Christy did.
Yeah,
Right?
I kicked rocks
really
real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kim Iverson, Tulsi Gabbard, Jimmy Dore. I gave them the benefit of a doubt longer than anyone else in our community.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's
you
like
did.
a wider community.
No, you did.
Because I really try to be fair. I really try. And and but Jimmy like reading an ad. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Okay, so I tried to justify it. And I wanted to share this part. I know he has a lot of medical issues. Maybe he decided to sell out because he just needs to make enough money to take care of himself. And for that reason, I would say, like as gross as I still think it'd be, I would understand it.
Your humanism is showing.
Yeah. And I mean, I would hope at some point he'd come out and be like, well, I got my shit handled. I'm so sorry about what I did, whatever. But I don't need to feel that. Like, I don't need to give him that benefit of the doubt. I don't. But I realized that I was trying to find a way because, cognitive dissonance. If that ended up being the case at some point in time, I think I'd be like, I get it. Like, when you're dealing with trying to deal with medical debt in this country, you may go to extremes so you can live.
Yeah.
But I have no reason to believe that is the case. So, and I mean, you don't have to act like a piece of shit towards Rachel Maddow. You can just tear her apart on her arguments, not on.
Amen. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, and I adored Jimmy Dore for when he did that.
I know. I know.
It helped me so much. But yeah, I hope no one else falls for shit like that. Oh, we won't fight another rich man's war.
You see this amazing photo? You see his amazing photo? When I see you on your honeymoon, one of them is yours. It's a real photo from then. I got two copies. I got two copies, one for me, one for you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
I know. It's from the Vietnam War when they came back and they were like, fuck this. We're not fighting no more rich man's war. We saw what's really out there. I know. One's for you, one's for me.
Where'd you get those?
I ordered them because it's been the screen or the home screen on my tablet for like 2 years. So I was like, God damn it, I just need to own it. And you know who else would I need two? One for Mac too.
I would like to share a photo with everyone, and then we can wrap up for the night. This is a little off topic. But this is something that keeps me going in everything I do.
Okay, let's get ready. On my face.
It's very easy to find this photo. Man, it kills me on the inside a little bit. I actually shared this with our local milkman.
Milkman?
Milkman. During World War II.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that comes in real good. Yeah.
I want this on my wall. It's not as good It's not as sharp, but it's a
No,
wider.
but still, yeah, some photos, man, they just really do say 1,000 words.
They
They
do,
just
and
capture a feeling. That's good photography right there.
it is, and it's I just want to say like what it says to me and like why like I wanted to bring it up. It's just because like that's essential work. One,
Yes,
that's
yes,
not the first thing that I would have said. It's just like the
not
world
it,
doesn't fucking stop.
right?
The world doesn't stop for fucking anyone, and especially when you live in a capitalist society or one that is too capitalist, right?
A
I'm
war
I'm
zone,
a market.
right?
I don't think it should be unfettered. Um, I think that we need to have solid social safety nets so when your world literally comes crumbling down, you don't have to go deliver milk. But at the same time, someone's got to deliver milk.
Right. And back then there weren't, I mean, there were ice trucks, but I mean, look at the wreckage. There's no ice trucks coming through. People still got to have milk. Their children have to have milk. Like, like there's nothing else coming. Yeah, that's a very, very
It's
powerful photo. Some photos like these that I ordered, they're so powerful.
so powerful, and it's just like if I have trouble being motivated, like I need to look at that and like man, like my day's not that hard. Uh, and like I wish I knew who that person was. Even I should do more research on it. But I did share that with our local milkman that I've
I love
actually known for around a decade, and that's why I showed him. Like I showed him last year. I'm like, hey, mind if I
it.
show you something?
Yep.
And he thought it was really cool. And like we had a cool little moment. Um, but yeah, I think it's neat. I love those old photos. I mean I love any photo that says like 1,000 words, like you said. Um, there's a lot. There's so much going on right now, guys.
Yes, there is.
I hope that when you come watch our show, as many of you have live tonight, I know we don't get into all of the nitty gritty of like a play by play. Sometimes we do, but we didn't this time. But I
Yeah.
hope that everyone does appreciate the way that we try to break down how we feel about it and how we can come up with solutions to fix some of these issues that we're having. I hope you guys enjoy what we bring to the community as a show.
Yes.
We love doing this every couple weeks.
Yes, we do.
Um,
I
and we
do.
love that you guys come and
I
watch and
I
join in on
find
the
that it's like political therapy. I just lost my political
therapy.
therapy. Right. It
For
just
us.
is. It's like all week I'm taking in all this stuff. And yes, I do it to myself. It is a hobby of mine. It is something that I choose to do. But at the end, there has to be a vent. I need to put it to, why am I doing this to myself? At least sometimes I do think, but it is good to be informed. Not everyone can spend that much time reading newspapers and learning stuff. They can't, and I get it. There was a time when I couldn't. I feel like it's good for me to do this. It feels good for me to do this. I look forward to seeing Mac and Nacha and saying hi for the few minutes before or many minutes before or many minutes after. I just it's good. And then I just love you guys. I do. I look forward to it. I think that it's, like I said, I wouldn't do it if it wasn't also good for me. It's very good for me mentally, emotionally, um, educationally, because I always am open to hearing, oh, well, I didn't think of it like that. And there are a lot of things that I have moved my opinions on because of having some of these conversations that we've had. So it's always a good thing.
Same.
Yes.
And I love that. This is definitely something I look for. I'm always so fucking tired by the end of it because I got to
Yeah,
be
I
at work.
know. Yes, you
But
do.
it's always worth it. I really appreciate these, and I appreciate that people watch. I mean, we don't. I don't even think we're getting like 100 views right now, but that
Right.
it doesn't matter. Like we're getting to some people. You guys are enjoying it. It seems. We love it. Notcha's still here with us after all these years. It's been a few.
Yes.
Should we tell them what's coming in the next like 2 fortnights?
Yes, let's see. I do know on the 30th is the next night. I have Alicia Keys, so I won't be able to be here. But my baby girl Isabel will be in town because it will be her 25th birthday from Washington State. And we are taking her to see Alicia Keys with us. So her two moms and Isabel, we're gonna go see Alicia Keys, who she grew up with because of me. Like, she's my cheat. Like everyone has that one that you wouldn't get in trouble for. She's that for me. So like I'm so excited for the Alicia Keys. So that's what's coming up for that night. But I do know we have Jenny Morgan as a guest coming up.
Yes, soon. If there's any way we can get that like recorded and maybe aired that night,
She'd be down for that.
The next fortnight after that, I'm gonna be there with you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get to see each other again. This is the second time us besties have been able to like hang out, and she gets to meet my my bride to be. We're going down there. She's kind of like the peak of our honeymoon road trip.
Right.
It should be fun. Yeah, we're very excited to come down there and stay with you for a day or two. We're stoked. And we're gonna buy so much pizza. We're gonna be
so yummy.
We're gonna be fucking hugs.
Yeah, so that's what we have. Okay, I'll talk to Jenny. We don't need to tell everybody here, but I will talk to Jenny. We'll get that taken care of. And so
we will get it approved by Nacha because our schedule is
yes.
This is upside down.
And he's in the future.
We love you very much. Thank you so much for joining us, Christy.
I love you guys. Happy Friday. Stay positive. Our president got indicted again. And USA.
Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock them.
I love you guys and stay humanist for God's sake. Mwah.